Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz, and this is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. So, glad to see everybody back from the bye week. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't checked it out by now, I did a mid-season review of the Texans while on the bye week or whatnot. It's on my website right now, BrandonSimmons.biz. So, whenever you got a chance during your Thanksgiving prep, go peep that, whether you're packing to travel or just, getting the kitchen spiced and spruced up. Yeah, go check that out, BrandonSimmons.biz. Also want to wish everybody safe travels on this Thanksgiving break. So the Texans will also be on some travels as they're going to Washington to take on the Redskins this Sunday. But we'll get into all that on what they need to do for the game. A couple of things I want to just kind of get into as far as like just regarding the second half of the season. So we're coming off the bye week. We're feeling refreshed. Of course, we got Demarius Thomas added right before our game against the Broncos. And so, you know what I'm saying? There's just, quite a few changes going on as well with that. Dante Foreman is supposed to be coming back this season as well. So that's something that we're definitely looking forward to, just to add some juice to our running game that we already have. So, but with all that said, there's just three things that I'm just really, really, really looking forward to for the rest of the season, honestly. Number one, remaining on top of this division. So with the AFC South, coming into the season, I had a very different outlook for it. When I say very different outlook, I mean to say that I had the Jacksonville Jaguars sitting like right at the top of the AFC South. Hell, even going into our game against them earlier this year, I figured like, this is going to be a pretty huge game. This might determine who's going to take over the division, at the end of the year. And so far I'm half right about that. But the other half of that is didn't see that the Jaguars were actually going to crap out this year. So that's one thing that's kind of caught me off guard. But other than that, it's not just Jacksonville that's in this division, obviously. The Tennessee Titans, they've been playing good as of late. Their defense has been doing some outstanding things as well. So, that's the team that's definitely just kind of on the bubble, not just in the AFC playoffs, but, they're on the bubble in this division. Same thing can be said for the Indianapolis Colts. They weren't doing so hot at the beginning of the year, and now it seems like they kind of turned things around. Everything's really coming together for that team, for them to implement and put into action for their success. And so we're like, what, 2 weeks out from December? So usually this is around the time that a lot of teams are, doing that exact same thing. Like everything's kind of coming together for them, whether it's on offense, on defense, or just on both sides of the ball. So everybody's clicking on their squads, and they're making those late season playoff runs. So as far as the Texans go, they're going to have to, stay on their own P's and Q's. Everything's going to have to click on offense, on defense, special teams as well. So, when they, as the season, gets older, and it's not just going to be teams that's in our division that we're facing. We're going to have to face, teams outside of the division, hell, outside of the conference, and that's going to determine, a lot of the tiebreakers at the end of the year, not just for like who wins the division, but also how we move up in the seedings as far as the overall playoffs. So definitely, Texas just. I'm looking forward to seeing them staying on top of the division, especially with this current winning streak that they got going on. Next thing I'm looking for is how's Demarius Thomas adjusted to the offense. Like I said, he's been here. He was here right before the Denver Broncos game, and so he's had those couple of days going into the game. He's had the bye week or whatever right after the game. So he's kind of had the chance to like kind of get familiar with the system, familiar with what plays that he's comfortable with, and all that. So, I mean, I'm not there, obviously, but I would like to believe that the time that he has been given. Um, with this team so far, that it's just been kind of a beneficial thing, and that he knows the playbook a little bit more. In that game against the Broncos, he only had like 3 catches for like 61 yards. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at, but at the same time, most of that was pretty much at the beginning of the game, and so. That's fine if he can make an immediate impact like that early in the game, but we definitely going to need like to see more throughout the game. And I mean, that's no like knock on him, like, or anybody in the organization. Like, he just got here, practically yesterday or whatever. So, um, hopefully, going forward, or hell, even hopefully this Sunday, we'll see a lot more out of him. The coaching staff will use him a lot more within the game plan. Last thing I want to touch on as far as like what I want to see for the Texans is the continued success of J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson. Both of these guys have came back from like some bad season-ending injuries, obviously, and so, I just want to see how they have improved for this year. Well, obviously, I'm seeing how Watson has improved. He's not hurt by the bye week. He's staying healthy. But J.J. Watt, I definitely want to see him continue making an impact on the defensive side of the ball. He has 9 sacks this year. I think that's tied with fifth with Miles Garrett, D Ford as well, a lot, and maybe a couple other players. But it's good to see him like kind of show flashes of that old J.J. Watt that a lot of offensive coordinators were having nightmares about. So. Yeah, like I said, like there's people talking about him being, and being in that defensive player of the year conversation. So, what I'm saying, that's something that's just well deserved. And I'm definitely, I'm just glad that, he's finally functioning to where, or at least close to where he used to be. And we also have Jadeveon Clowney. That whole little, combination is working out as well, whether they're on opposite sides or on the same side. Also, Whitney Merciless as well. One thing I do want to add about my defense, and it's going back to what I was saying about everything just coming together right now. I noticed our secondary has been playing a little bit better. Granted, we've been playing some not so great quarterbacks, but I mean, in this league, you take what you can. So definitely, kudos to our secondary for just kind of stepping up and just bringing the pain to some of these offenses. So with that being said, let's just dive into Sunday's game. So this Sunday, they're going to take on the Redskins, and there's just quite a couple of things with the Redskins. One, they're on top of their division, the NFC East, and the NFC East they've been having their own issues as well for each team. Cowboys, we all know what's going on down there. The Philadelphia Eagles, they've been kind of slacking a little bit, just coming off their Super Bowl run, and so the New York Giants. That's that's so bad. I almost forgot to mention them within this division. And so, the Redskins right now they're sitting at the top of all this mess. And they're doing it, through a little bit of grit. To be honest with you, Alex Smith is the quarterback, but I mean he's not. If you know Alex Smith is he doesn't have like a great solid receiver core around him, you're not going to get a lot of passing yards out of him. So they're pretty much getting this done through running game and defense. The surprisingly part about that is that they have Adrian Peterson as their main running back after Darius Geis got hurt early in the year. So, with that being said, man, there's just a few things that the Texans just really got to focus on. First thing, the Redskins offense is limited. So as I mentioned about Alex Smith, yeah, he's limited. Last year when he was in Kansas City, he had like quite a few weapons at his disposal. He had um, Travis Kelsey. He had a guy like Tariq Hill that can just run all up and down defenses. And so if he when he had weapons like that, he's able to put up like a couple of 300-yard games, a couple of 200 sometimes on depending on how the day was, but even a 400-yard game or two. So he's able to do numbers like that if he has those type of weapons. But for the most part, he really doesn't. I think his best passing weapon might be Josh Reed. That's a big might. Other than and also as far as like the Redskins offense, man, like I said, they have Adrian Peterson. Now, obviously, this isn't the Adrian Peterson that was with Minnesota, the Adrian Peterson that ran for 1,400 yards, a couple years ago. But this isn't the Adrian Peterson that was getting bounced around from New Orleans to Arizona last season either. A little bit different, actually a little bit better um, of Adrian Peterson. And I mean, he's 33 years old, but I mean that don't mean nothing. Like he's currently he's already ran for like 672 yards. He very may well crack 1,000 yards at this age, which is I'm pretty sure it's a rare stat since you don't really see a lot of running backs that'll be in the league like past 30. So um, he's really pushing this team along, and it's helping Alex Smith out. Um, the reason Alex Smith is gonna need that help is because, like I said, their passing game is just not that threatening. It's Josh Reed maybe, and just a couple of other receivers that are like sprinkled here and there. The one thing about Alex Smith that will probably make that passing game dangerous is if he gets out of the pocket. So it's similar to kind of what I said about Case Keenum last time. Don't let him get out the pocket, to make plays or anything. Because Alex Smith, it's a little bit different as well. If he gets out the pocket, it's likely he's going to run. And, even at his age, I believe he's 34, he can still move. He'll still probably get you like a 5, 10 yard little chunk or whatever. But regardless of that, he can still go. So definitely look out for that. Try not to let him get out of that pocket too much. And he won't just scramble. He'll also throw the ball down the field as well. So definitely keep a hold on that. Next thing, Redskins defense, it has to be neutralized. So when they're not running the ball, they're playing some great defense, to be honest with you. And two of the guys that they got, Mason Foster, he's sixth in the league in tackles right now. Ryan Kerrigan, the dude is a presence on that outside. So with Mason Foster, pretty dope guy, like on the inside, that'll kind of help, power that run defense or help the defense defend the run. With Ryan Kerrigan, you might not get so much run defense as you will get a good pass rush out of him. So definitely, Texas will have to find a way to like, just kind of keep those guys away from the play. Whether it's like running a sweep away from whatever side that they're on or whatever, or just trying to do a couple of screen passes or whatnot. Definitely the screen passes would probably be good for Demarius, since he was like I think that was his first play in the Broncos game, and that went for a pretty good chunk of yardage. So definitely we can look into doing that. But yeah, for sure. Mason Foster and Ryan Kerrigan are two guys on the Redskins defense that we'll have to watch out for. Another thing about the defense, their secondary is kind of trash. They're like ranked way low, probably around 25th, 26th, as far as like defending the pass. The crazy thing about that, safety DJ Swearinger, also a former Texan actually. He's like fourth in the league in interceptions right now. So I would say still take a chance on like just trying to attack. But it will probably be the same thing. Just kind of keep it away from his side or whatever. But um, I would still rather just take my chances on just attacking that secondary. Hell, you can probably even go with Josh Norman if you want to. He's been like yeah, you've seen him a couple times. Like he's able he can be easy food on some days. And so I think with a receiver like DeAndre Hopkins, I think he can definitely have a good feast off of Josh Norman this Sunday, or pretty much any receiver. So definitely I would take my shots at that secondary more than anything. Last thing Texans should do is score early. Redskins don't fare that well in blowouts at all. Um, Pull up some of this score. So yeah, when they lose, like they lose big, and when they win, they got a couple of games where it's like, they're shutting down teams or whatever. Like last week at Tampa Bay, they won 16-3 on the road, mind you. Um, Arizona, they opened the season in Arizona, winning 24-6. They have games like that. Now, when it comes to their losses, they lost to the Indianapolis Colts 21-9. The New Orleans Saints 43-19. Um, who else? Yeah, the Atlanta Falcons 38-14. So, I mean, I guess it's probably the makeup of the team. Since they don't really have a passing game, they can't really throw themselves into cutting the lead down there like that. It's really hard to like try to come back um, by using a running back, like however many percent of the times, or just running the ball, however many percent of the times. But yeah, when it comes to the Redskins, they will lose big. So it's very important if the Texans score early. If the Texans can score early and often, probably just get up by like a couple of touchdowns. I think that the Redskins are probably going to go away from the run, and it's going to force Alex Smith to like either try to go down the field or they try to do his little check down game management style things. But yeah, it's definitely going to take away a big component of their offense, which is the running game, and so it's going to make it easier for Texans defense to just kind of capitalize on that. Well, that's all I got for this week. I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.